Well, apparently I am delusional and losing touch with reality. That's according to a comment on on my one video I did yesterday about what your Filipina really wants is to see you being happy, you know. I'm not sure. I didn't have time to screw around looking at the guy's profile and all that who made the comment, but I'm assuming it's just another one of those bitter old guys who is hanging out in the Philippines. I don't know, maybe he's not in the Philippines, I don't know where he's at, but a lot of these, so-called YouTube experts on dating and everything, like I've made videos before about that, they have a pretty poor track record of success, telling you how to find the right woman and how you need to be like this and you need to be like that, and they're complete and total failures. They're with a woman maybe a couple months at a time, maybe after 10 or 15 years of striking out and not being able to get it right. Now they've been with someone for a year or two and want to portray themselves as some kind of an expert. I mean, when I first started getting involved with the Philippines, I was involved for a little while with a couple of people who turned out to not be what they seemed to be, or at least in a situation where it just wasn't going to work out, especially with me still being here in America. And so it just probably, that wasn't the best situation anyways, just depends on who you get involved with, On the other hand, I'm coming up on my 9th anniversary right now, here later this year. And so I'll take my track record in terms of being able to find somebody and make a relationship work over these losers who, go over there and run around and just do the same old shit that all these other old guys do and make videos about Tompo and about don't give your girlfriend an allowance or whatever, don't get her used to wanting this, or don't get her used to wanting that, and all the little rules you need to follow to protect yourself over there. And yet, when it comes to actually finding someone who's worth being with and having a decent relationship, they're losers. They've never done it. They have a track record of being over there for years and not being able to make it work. And some of us who have been following the scene for a long, long time, a lot longer than a lot of these new, Johnny-come-lately so-called experts on YouTube, we've seen what these people have done. We've seen the people they've been with. We've seen them cavorting around with their little child girlfriends who, have the mental capacity of like a 3-year-old. So we know what kind of person they are. So for some of us, we're just not impressed by some of these so-called experts because we know exactly what they are. And unfortunately, you're going to have two camps. You're going to have the people over there who, what they really want is to hang out with their other expat buddies, just because they'd rather hang out with, the guys than to be with a woman. I don't know. That's their life, hanging out with other old expats, bitching about shit, and laughing about the good old days and telling war stories about shit they never really did. And things like that, which I just, personally doesn't interest me, or I don't have time for. And then you've got the other people who go over there and they actually are in a real relationship and they know how to make it work, and they've been doing it for a while. These people that you see on YouTube who've been with someone for a couple of years, oh wow, wow, so impressive. Thanks. Once you've been with somebody 5, 10, 15, 20 years, then maybe you can give me some advice on how to make a relationship work. If you're just someone who's running around, dating people, which is a word that people use oftentimes just to describe running around having sex with someone for a little while and then moving on to something else so you can taste a different flavor and not getting tied down with any kind of commitments or anything, then that's great. But don't portray yourself as some kind of an expert when it comes to relationships, because anyone can do what you're doing if that's what you're doing. If you can make it work and know how to treat your wife, your partner, like a human being, and you actually, deserved some respect, then that's fine. But otherwise, just be what you are, which is someone who is over there using people and running around hanging out with other old dumbass expats and having fun. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But when someone who has been involved in a long-term relationship and making it work has a different opinion than you, just be willing to admit that the reason they have a different opinion is because they have different goals. My goal with my relationship is to make it work and to act like I'm a human being. I understand that my wife is a human being. She's not just some plaything. She's not the live-in help / prostitute like some guys are looking for. And so my advice on things is going to be different than the advice you're going to get from some grouchy old asshole who's finally retired and living over in the Philippines on Social Security and just trying to protect their little nest egg and keep from having anybody spend any of it or getting attached, I don't know, it's amazing. A lot of these guys, anytime you have a different opinion than what their little circle of so-called experts on YouTube have, then you're delusional. It's like the old British guy. I haven't even been able to stomach watching any of his videos lately. It's the same old shit. I'm not sure what happened here to my screen. Okay. Sitting around under his little tree, bitching about things and telling you how evil Filipinos are and all this shit. Look, there's people over there who will use you, for sure, But this idea that you have to be a jerk to keep from being used is just ridiculous. You can actually be a good human being and a nice person and not be run over. Now, it may be that sometimes you're willing to take a chance on something that you may have a bad feeling about, but it's kind of like they say in Vegas, don't gamble more than you're willing to lose. If you're willing to take a chance on something, on a situation, and give it a shot, even though you might have some misgivings about it, that's fine. But as long as you're doing it with your eyes open and you understand what the situation is, and you're smart enough to pull the plug before you get permanently attached or involved, if you realize it's not what you were hoping it might be, then fine. But I don't know, man. Some of these guys, I've been watching this scene for a long, long time, and the people who are out there on YouTube making it big, it's the same old shit. Some of these guys, they've been putting out the same exact videos about the same shit for 10 years, or more maybe. It's the same exact thing. Just rehashing the same old shit with a new thumbnail with some sexy girl on it. And they've got tens, hundreds of thousands of views on some of this stuff. And they're not telling you anything. They're not telling you anything that matters. It's entertainment, okay? And it's nice. It's just like turning on, a rerun of your favorite TV show. You like hanging out, watching it. It's on in background noise. But you know what the story is. It's the same old thing. And there is a whole subculture of guys who go over there. Either that or people who are still not over in the Philippines, but are just kind of groupies for that whole scene. And they just soak it up. And anyone who has a different, contrary opinion, then they attack them. We've seen through the years some of these guys, these old goofy guys over there, taking advantage of little girls, serial sex offenders, basically. Even though maybe the people were just barely marginally legal, but still mentally far below the age at which they could enter into a mature relationship with anyone. At least mentally, And anytime somebody criticizes them, they all gang up to attack the person. And there's that whole crowd of people over there. So, if you're looking for good advice about the Philippines, like I've said before, especially specifically on the topic of dating, if you want to, look to someone who's been an obvious failure, and all they've done is just date different people nonstop, can't get it right, and consider that person an expert on something, then fine, you know. We all get to decide who we think has an opinion that matters. But if someone's just over there running around being with all kinds of different people and can't get it right, you know, the problem is either A, they don't really want to get it right, they're just having fun, or B, there's something fucking wrong with them, you know? I mean, all those different people and they couldn't make it work? What's wrong with them? There's got to be a problem with them, you know? So, if that's who you want to look to for advice, consider them an expert. And once again, like I say too, some of these guys, you know, after they've gone over there and, you know, dated 50 women, maybe now they're finally in a relationship where they said, okay, this is the right one, and they were willing to finally put a ring on someone's finger and call it permanent. We don't know yet how long that's going to last, because it's quite possible that maybe the little girl that they have hooked up with finally, when she finally grows up, she's going to realize what a loser they are too and kick them out, you know? So choose your experts carefully. You know, I have no point to this except ranting because it's fun. Just, it's amazing. So many people over there that, you know, portraying themselves as some kind of expert on things, and it's a way for them to make money off of YouTube, you know? They're not helping you. They're not giving you any advice that matters. They're just telling you, keep on being a bitter old loser and have fun.